Money FM 89.3, best of the afternoon update. Eco Money on Money FM 89.3.
You're listening to Eco Money on Money FM 89.3, where we bring you the latest in sustainability and finance. I'm Rachel Kelly. Now, 70% of the top 100 largest listed companies in 6 Southeast Asian nations, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam, published climate-related disclosures in 2020 and 2021. Sounds good, doesn't it? There's a but, though. They fell short when it came to measuring performance and linking them to senior executive salaries. This is the mixed picture on the quality of climate-related disclosures among companies listed in member countries of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, according to research conducted jointly by the National University of Singapore's Centre for Governance and Sustainability and non-profit independent standards organization's Global Reporting Initiative. To find out more, we are joined on the line by Professor Lawrence Loh, Director of the Centre for Governance and Sustainability at NUS Business School. Prof, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hello, Rachel.
Good to have you back with us, Prof. It's been a while.
Yes, definitely. I'm so happy to hear you again.
And it's good to have you with us with such an in-depth study and research report on the state of ESG and sustainability reporting in the region. And Prof, I was surprised by some of these numbers. So let's start off, because most of the companies, 84%, report their material topics on climate change, yet only one quarter, 26%, describe long-term factors related to their climate risk strategy. What were your thoughts on the numbers? Were you concerned about some of the disparity that we saw?
Yes, indeed, I think there are surprises. Maybe let me start with the happy surprise.
Okay.
Beyond what you say, 84% report material topics on climate, I think is something very good. And in addition to that, almost 3/4 actually have metrics or measures on climate performance. In fact, close to 2/3 actually reported what we call greenhouse gases. So that's a happy part. And I think it's definitely a mixed bag. There are some worrying parts. Beyond, the lack of linkages of management pay to climate. Right now, one particular thing which I'm quite concerned with is maybe only about 1/4 of them, the largest company which form the vanguard of the economy, so to speak, actually have long-term factors for climate change in their disclosure. In other words, maybe, for example, some of the steps they are taking towards achieving neutrality in carbon or even net zero, some of the longer factors that will threaten us in terms of our actions for climate change.
We see a large number of companies reporting on sustainability, yet perhaps it's the granularity that we're seeing fail here. Is greenwashing an issue then? Is that something that you're worried about?
Yes, I think it shows up quite a bit in the study, but I think it's a much broader concern beyond what we found in particular in the study. I think if you look at greenwashing, there are maybe two parts of it. One is, of course, the very blatant greenwashing. Companies which, they wrap out a plastic bottle in paper, they call it a paper bottle. I mean, it's a real case.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. So, but beyond the blatant part, I think in terms of disclosure, in terms of company communications, there are some things that are more subtle.
Okay.
For example, not only in this study, but in the whole series of studies that I and my team have conducted for the Singapore context, the ASEAN context, Asia Pacific context, what we found is that all the companies, in fact, consistently, 100% of companies will review the favorable aspects of things related to sustainability. They will blow the trumpet, and but when it comes to important topics, the so-called bad news, for example, safety accidents, industrial accidents, for example, violation of environmental emission, for example, in pollution, they get fined consistently. Only about half to two-thirds of the companies will review important unfavorable aspects related to sustainability. So this is something a bit subtle, that the omission part is subtle.
It's the transparency on all aspects, isn't it, Prof?
Yes, definitely. The balancing is very important. I mean, stakeholders don't just want to read the now is not only greenwashing, it's whitewashing. I mean,
and that goes to another element of the study that you found, is that a number falls short when it comes to measuring performance. Perhaps that's across the board. Do you think then a standardization of measurement could help across the region, or even globally when it comes to sustainability reporting?
Yes, definitely. Now the key challenge is actually in the measurement aspects. I think to be quite fair to the companies, many of them are quite sincere, quite genuine in wanting to, try to improve their communication, their disclosure in sustainability and climate. But I think in the measurement part, which I think what we need to do is, have proper standards that they can be easily understood and adopted, and more importantly, that consistency of standards that they can use to compare against, to benchmark against their peers. Right now, the last mile problem is actually in the matrices that could be easily rolled out and implemented across the board by companies, not just the large, big and famous companies which have all the trained professionals, but the middle rank and file companies.
And how far are we off reaching some kind of standard measurement to even the playing field, to make things clearer for companies when it comes to sustainability reporting?
I think definitely the evening the playing field is very important. I think it's quite clear, at least from many of the studies that I have done personally, there's a size effect in terms of their performance in, say, disclosure and sustainability, including governance, maybe even environment and social. That definitely the larger company has this advantage of having access to more resources, so they can actually jump onto the wagon very, very easily and, put out all the required information for all the stakeholders. So there's a size effect. But having said that, I think the next big challenge is the wider adoption by the broader business community, not just the large company or even the listed companies. I mean, the mom and pop shops, because contribution to carbon emission, to climate change is actually across all companies, not just a few selected ones. Of course, these are the heavy duty one that adding.
Yeah, it's just ensuring that companies are being transparent and truthful when it comes to, as you mentioned, the sustainability reporting. Prof, there was an article in The Economist recently, and it highlighted that the S and the G should be dropped from ESG and the E should be shifted to emissions. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think obviously there's some merit to being more focused, because among sustainability, climate change is the big one. Among climate change, the emission, not only just the broader environment, but the emission is the big one. But having said that, I think we need to continue to be holistic, integrated in our perspective. E, S, and G are not just balancing trade-off that we may, even though emission in the E is pressing, that will require attention. I think we should not lose sight to the bigger picture. The S, the social part, is something that is important for a long time and will continue to be important. We cannot just throw the baby out with the bathwater. And the G part, I think I have to end with this G part. G part, the governance is actually the ultimate arbiter, the ultimate leverage that will make E and S happen. Without G, there's no E, there's no S. The E and the S will not just drop down from the sky and we all live happily after. The G has to be the motivator, the initiator,
the backbone.
And the pusher. Yes. Someone has to make things happen, and it is the leadership.
It is the G. So, Prof,
Yes.
before we let you go, what are some of the key corporate sustainability trends that you're going to be watching out for in the year ahead that investors should be aware of?
Yes, I think, of course, I alluded to that earlier, the standards. I think we are seeing now a global, perhaps, convergence or alignment to a certain form of standards. And I think many of the people, listeners may know, that there's a lot of thought about this so-called ISSB, the International Sustainability Standards Board, which comes from the International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS. And I think they already have some what we call the exposure draft or the consultation papers that are already out, and some global baseline would be formulated by the end of the year. And I think this is going to take perhaps the corporate world by storm, and it will be interoperable with some of the existing standards like GRI and the TCFD, the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosure. So I'm actually, and I think a lot of people in business, in policy, or even informed people will have to watch out for this coming convergence, and I think that will help businesses a lot. But yeah.
Okay. Well, Prof, quite a lot to digest there.
Yep.
Thanks as always for taking the time to speak with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Richard Kelly. Yes.
We've been speaking with Prof. Lawrence Loh, Director, Center for Governance and Sustainability at NUS Business School. You're listening to Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at moneyfm893.sg or download our audio app. That's AWEDIO. Available on Google Play or the App Store.